Hi all, I'm Cullen Haynes and welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, the Ledger Legends Show, the show where we interview leading legends of accounting and finance doing big things, strange things, awesome things that you'll want to hear about. If you're watching live, it is currently 12:17 Australian Eastern Daylight Time, so thank you for tuning in. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, X, and you can get this wherever you get your podcasts as well. So thank you for re-listening. Proudly brought to you by Accounting Home Loans, Australia's only mortgage broking firm for accountants. The next guest I've got for you on episode 13 is an absolute artisan of their craft. Saw a gap in the market with bookkeeping, especially for leading law firm owners, and wanted to not only be the bookkeeper of choice, but the cash flow and profit specialist. Has had 12 years in the space and has launched her firm last year to raging success, a dose of money. Could you please make very welcome the law firm finance whisperer, the one, the only, Miss Pooja Venugopal. How are you, Pooja?
Hi, Colin. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you on, and it's obviously we're live. This is live, so if you've got any questions for Pooja, please put them in the show notes, put them in the comments, and I will do my best to get to them presently. But everyone wants to know what is happening in your world right now, Pooja, and tell us in a nutshell, what is it you actually do?
Definitely, Colin. I think it's the new financial year in Australia. So, July. And, things are looking, everyone are starting fresh. Business owners are starting with a new zeal, starting with their budgets and, aiming to reach that new heights in their business.
Yes.
So supporting them in the beginning of the financial year is always exciting, and it's so good to be part of their journey now.
Absolutely.
And yes, and also with all the new legislations that come with the bookkeeping and accounting aspect of it, so helping them navigate the compliance bit by keeping a tab on their cash flow. That's what I do day in and day out.
Well, it's the lifeblood of every business, right? Is cash flow and the bottom line. As much as we want to bring revenue, I know many brokers in the space that are leaders, and they've got a lot of revenue, but the bottom line is not looking healthy because they've got big businesses, right? And big businesses are expensive, as you know, right?
Very much, very much. It's ultimately, as I say, the bottom line, and more than the bottom line, it's actually the overall cash flow, which is super critical. Uh, which otherwise you're just keeping things moving. There is no. It's just top line and the expenses matching off. There is nothing left for you at the end of the day.
No, it's a good point. It's a good point. And I'd love to ask, if you had to tell your story using just film titles, what would your journey look like? How would you tell your story in just movie film titles?
Um, I think when the moment movie came into the picture, thought there were two movies that influenced me personally as well. Even till date, they continue to influence me. There is one Bollywood movie by the name Three Idiots. It
Okay,
is
I think I've heard of it. Yes.
Yes, it is a blockbuster movie, and it tells you the importance of following your passion. So
Yes.
it just stresses, and I think I watched that movie at the critical phase of my life, and that has really shaped me. And definitely the second one is, I think, probably everyone's favorite, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Absolutely. Mel Scott in our episode 53 of The Law Live said The Pursuit of Happiness was her favorite
Yes.
movie as well. So,
Yes, I think for me, more than favorite, um, I've personally lived that life. Not maybe that harsh, to be honest, as they show in the movie. But yes, at a very young age, when I lost my father when I just turned 18, I have lived that life, so I can relate to it very well.
I'm sorry to hear that, Pooja, but it sounds
That's
like you've
okay. So that's
tried.
okay. No, I think
Mm.
it was just yeah, it's time. Time flies, and I think these two movies, they're really very close to my heart. Yeah.
It's amazing. Absolutely. So the Three Idiots and the Pursuit of Happiness. Get it
Yes.
on. I think it's on Netflix because it's so big. So definitely watch both of them. Look, you've become the go-to cash flow expert for the bookkeeping space. What does it
Mhm.
actually take to become the trusted expert in a field, in your opinion?
I think in a simple way, it is just caring for the business.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just caring for the business. Like, as simple as, like, for example, as bookkeepers, we see all the transactions that go into the accounting file. So,
Yes.
just caring, like, as simple as, I try to keep it simple, like, if your insurance bill has gone up by $1,000 from last year, just ask, like, why has it gone? Like, did we do a comparison? Did we get quotes on the law insurance? It's those small things that matter. It's not massive changes, it's small things that matter. So caring for business, especially when the sales are low, and then even you can forecast a big liability coming up, then asking, how are you managing to pay that bill, like, what are your plans to cover this expense. I think it's all those small things that adds up, that the caring for the business is what that matters.
Very
Not
well
all
said.
those jargons, not all the high accounting jargons or the complicated legislation, but it's start with small things. That's what. So start by caring for the business numbers. Everything will fall into place.
I love that. Focus on the details. And you have a passion for making business finances understandable. Where did the
Yes.
germ of the idea come from for Dose of Money? Where did you get the idea to actually, you know what? This is what I'm going to do.
I think it was definitely around COVID time. Okay,
Yeah,
when COVID happened, we saw how government was backing small businesses. You know why? That's because small business is the backbone of the country.
there you go.
So it is, if the small business stops, we saw it. We all have seen it. COVID, what happened? How
Yes.
people lost jobs and how government was backing small businesses with all the boost and everything. So I think that was when actually the idea cropped, and also the idea came into the mind. But even then, even before that, I have been working in small businesses for like since 2013, ever since
Yes.
I arrived. So I have, I think I'm so grateful. Like, I think I owe so much to small businesses, because somebody, like, a small business employed me as an employee, as a
Yes.
contractor. Yeah, I think it's the small businesses that helped me, so it's a payback time.
I love that. I love that. And it's spoken almost like a true politician. Small business is the backbone of the country. If you don't get support when you run for mayor or something like that, Pooja, I'd be surprised. I love that. But everyone, we're a quarter of the way through the stream. Put your questions in to this absolute legend. Keep it evergreen if you want to. If you want to get a little bit more substance, maybe a cheeky DM on Instagram or LinkedIn would be welcomed, because everyone needs to talk about their finance. When you shine a light on something, it becomes less scary. So put your questions in, please. What's one surprising or unsurprising skill that's helped you succeed, Pooja? Not just with numbers, but with people.
I think definitely knowing, appreciating others' perspective. I think
Yes.
that changed my thinking and my teamwork style completely.
Yes.
Because I think before, probably when I was naive, I would say it was always my way or highway kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And when I started, just this shift in perspective, like appreciating others perspective, like, let's say, like, you want to bring in a new software to the firm, just by asking other team members, like, this is what I'm trying to do, what do you think,
Yes.
is amazing, what that can do for your business, and that
Yes.
what can do for your teamwork. I think that changed. So that has been a big change for me, even personally as well. Taking the perspective of all the family members has, helped a lot. Appreciating it, not just listening for the sake of it, but appreciating others perspective has definitely helped and changed me as a person a lot.
I'm endeared by what you're saying there, Pooja. I'm picking up what you're putting down, hearing you on FM on all fronts. And I like what you're saying about the teamwork, because the teamwork really does make the dream work. So you should
Yes.
always put things in place if it's going to either hopefully solve the client's problem, make it easier, or make your
Mhm.
team's job easier. So that's a good point that you make. On the finance front, switching gears back a little bit, what does being on top of your game in business look like from a financial clarity perspective? Because I've got a lot of leading business owners in my network, and they all say they're successful, but there's a difference between obviously being successful in business, but then being successful and having that clarity in your finances. So what do you denote success as?
I think probably from a business owner perspective, definitely being aware of your numbers.
Okay.
Okay, so I think, and there are many means you can do it. Like, you can do budgeting, you can do forecasting, you
Yeah.
can check your daily bank account every day. And I think you can do many, what do you say? There are many ways to reach that goal, reach that awareness. So I think
Yes.
being aware is the first step of everything, because if you're not even aware of the problem, then you can't diagnose it. So you have to be very much aware of your business number. I think that's extremely critical. Everything starts from there. And the thing is, and then there are many myths around, like, I'm very small, I know my number, or like, the cash flow, I know the business is in loss anyway, then why do I have to know? I think that's the biggest myth. It's actually, that's when you have to know the numbers even more, especially when you're small. That is when you have to know, because you're establishing the foundation. And
Very
when
well
your
said.
business is in loss, that's when you have to know even more, because you have to steer the direction of your business. So I think it's those myths. And yeah, and as I said, awareness is the number one critical factor.
No, it's a really important concept. Being aware of those numbers and knowing what levers to pull and what to do, and having a
Yes.
trusted advisor like yourself in the background is very big help on that. But obviously, running a business comes with a lot of pressure. And
Yes.
when you've had one of those days, we all know the days I'm talking about. How does Pooja personally recharge and reset? What do you do?
I love colors. So I love colors. So be it, uh, and in accounting, it's just black and white, and at times red. I know,
Yes,
yeah. But it's I love colors. So every time I need some change, I start doing calm coloring. I have my sketchbook and my sketch pens always close to me. I just start coloring,
just start
and then just,
coloring. I love that. You do the mandalas and things like that, huh?
yeah, it's here, it's here, it's here.
Here
Yeah,
we go.
just
Look at
see those
this.
colors.
Peace, love, and music and colors. You know what, Pooja? I'm going to let you in on a secret. I am colorblind, but that looks like a lovely
Oh,
pink
sorry,
peace
yeah.
sign. If it is pink, if it's not, apologies to any
No,
pink
no,
lovers here.
no.
Being PC, but nonetheless,
Uh,
I love that. So anyone listening or re-listening, coloring is Pooja's go-to thing. I think that's fantastic. Please put
and
your
also,
questions in, guys. We're halfway through the stream. We've got some great questions coming up as well. And thank you for either watching live or re-listening to our Live with Cullen Haynes show, Ledger Legends, here with Pooja Venugopal from Dose of Money, law firm, bookkeeper, and legend and CFO. Any personal projects or goals you're working on outside of the spreadsheets and the strategy, Pooja, that you can maybe share with our listeners and watchers today?
yes, I think finally I'm working on my weight loss journey.
Good on
and
you.
something I think I've been able to have worked, but have never probably put proper focus. But now I've been able to focus a bit more, and I can see the results. So I'm really excited about how the journey unfolds the rest of the year. And it's surprising, and I see so much of analogy between the weight loss and the business thing what I do, because they both are on the same principle. What gets measured gets managed, being consistent. And so it's funny how the everything is on pretty much same principle.
Well, we've known each other for the last year, and I can tell you, you look fantastic, Pooja. So keep on the track
Oh,
that
thank
you're
you.
doing. Obviously, health is wealth, and it's thank you for sharing, because I'm sure there's a lot of people, trying to run a business but also manage their health as
Yes.
well, which is fantastic. We talked offline. You had your rigid, 12 o'clock's to go to for lunch as well. Do you find having set times during the day with business and either breakfast, lunch, dinner helps you as well?
100%, 100%. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Consistency at the end of the day. I think it's also your body clocks telling, like, naturally ticking, like, now knocking on you to have your lunch, to drink water. So, 100%. So it's, what do you call, automation? Like, this is automation.
It's a habit. It's rituals, right? Getting into it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Hats off to you, to Pooja, and thank you for sharing with everyone as well. Where do you see this is really going diving in? Right, we were talking about tech and AI before. Where do you see the future of bookkeeping, financial visibility, and cash flow advice heading in maybe to the next 5 to 10 years? Are business owners going to become more aware or more overwhelmed? Let me know your thoughts. Over to you, Pooja.
I mean, unfortunately, it is both. Like, they are getting overwhelmed and also excited. I think I see it's like a tug of war. It's like, one side, your AI, your accounting software, everyone are saying, doing business is zero, stand in the coffee queue, pay the bill, receive
Yes.
payment, and that's how it is shown. But the other side of the spectrum is saying, like, the with so many changes in regulation, like, you have to pay your super along with your pay, so many things happening in the legislation, the ATO side of things. So unfortunately, it's the business owner who is in the middle of this. And
Yes.
I think what I see is, with these regulations and changes, there is overwhelm. When you are made aware of it to the business owners, there is overwhelm. But that's where you step in to bring in the clarity, right? That's the whole
Yes.
point of what you do. There is always going to be overwhelm, there's always going to be confusion.
Yes.
So, and most of the times, yes, when you actually make them aware of a new legislation, they get overwhelmed. That's natural. So that's where you step in and say, like, okay, this is what it is, so this is what we need to do in order to navigate this space. So so that's what I see. And there is definitely going to be, investing in cash flow advisory services is definitely going to help any business owner, and that's not going to change. I think all the smart business owners do know that aspect. So I see, there's always it just gets stronger by the year. The cash flow advisory services is definitely going to get stronger by the day.
Great. And very cogent insights and wisdom you're imparting. I'm sure a lot of people are gaining some well-earned nuggets there. So thank you so much for sharing there, Pooja. What you can be as frank as you want, or you can be a little bit anonymous. What's the most unexpected or unusual client request or situation you've ever had to solve in your luminous decade-long career, and what did you learn from it?
I think it's more than that. One client, I think it was, when you say what you learned is, with all this decade of experience, with my experience working with business owners, is there are like two sets of business owners.
Yes.
One who are cash flow aware, one who know what they are doing,
Yes.
and like, those one who are aware, when the sudden the bass bill comes, or when there is unexpected expense coming up, they are not surprised, they are very calm, and they value the advice that is given to them, and they really have futuristic thinking. But then there is second set of people who are not aware of what's going on, and every day for them, it's like, what are they doing, like, they drive without purpose. I'm not saying drive without purpose in the sense, unfortunately, the business takes control of them rather than them controlling them. So I think it's knowing, like, these two sets of people. And I mean, coming circling back to that question, I think the period when it was very tricky again, it was around COVID time.
Yes.
I saw people who were aware of their numbers and who had this futuristic thinking. They could leapfrog, like, for example, people who were already planning coming online, they were able to move faster because,
Yes.
they had the mental energy to forward think because they were already there. But then there were people who really went backwards when COVID happened because they didn't have that mental space to think. They were so busy doing the day-to-day stuff.
Yes.
They didn't have the mental energy to think forward. So yeah, so I think seeing that firsthand, I learned a lot from these clients. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And on the mentor side of things, or people in business or family members, who would you say has been a standout mentor for you, Pooja, and has helped influence your philosophy around business, money, and mindset?
I think I'm very grateful to have a mentor by the name Vicky. Initially, when I arrived in Australia, unfortunately, she passed away a few years back. But she has, she was the one who gave me the first opportunity, and I think she has been a very inspirational person for me, and I think I like to draw inspiration from everyday people. I don't like to see somebody whom I haven't met. No, Cullen is my inspiration. When it comes to LinkedIn, how to be with LinkedIn, how to be for the people. So it's like, and
Thanks, Pooja.
every time I log into LinkedIn, right? I see, especially ever since I started niching down into legal or law firms, I see there are so many amazing people doing such great work in this space. So I think they're all inspiration for me. So
Yes,
it's like, I call this like an invisible team, in the sense, we are not formally in a team, but we are all in a team working towards a betterment of a sector. I think that's what I call an invisible team. And so I draw inspiration from everyone, everyday people whom I meet, and whom I gain knowledge from on LinkedIn. And yeah.
fantastic, fantastic. And did you say Vicky was your mentor? Um,
Yes, speaking, yes.
well, you're honoring her memory, so it's very
Yes,
special. Thank you for sharing, Pooja. Thank you for sharing, and shout out to
yes.
Vicky. If you could wave a magic wand and change just one thing about small businesses and how they handle their finances, what would it be?
I think, what, make it mandatory to pull the cash flow report. That's it. One change. That will tell you, that has answered to all your questions. Why is my profit something to my bank account? Why is my bank account different to profit?
What's
Where
going
is
on
my
here? Kind of thing. Yeah,
everything? It has answer to everything. I think it is that hidden gem. So make it mandatory. I think I know there are many things mandatory already, but I wish this becomes mandatory so that everyone are on top of their cash flow game.
I love that. I love that. Very good. And what would you give in terms of advice to someone starting out in finance, bookkeeping, or accounting or advisory, especially if they want to make a real impact the way you have, Pooja?
I think I would say definitely follow your passion, in the sense, helping small businesses or being in accounting space. It's all about number game,
Yes.
and not just number game, interpreting the numbers in a meaningful way. So I
Yes.
think that's where you feel like, you're on a purposeful journey.
Yes.
Otherwise it can really get monotonous. Like, it's like,
Yes.
it can be boring. I'm not saying it's, exciting and, full of flowers every day. So it can get monotonous, but then you will reconnect to your purpose, and that's where you can replenish that energy. So, and also, I think, don't go by, what do you say, there is so much hype about, entrepreneurship or 9 to 5 job, ditch 9 to 5. solopreneur, entrepreneur, all those things. I think if you following your passion is important,
Yes.
not, and these are all the vehicles that can take you. Okay, so for example, like, I started off working as a volunteer. Like, that's the only way
Yes.
I could go and experience. That was that again came from my mentor. They said, if you want to gain experience, why don't you volunteer? I said yes, that's correct. All right, that's how I started getting experience. So I think, so don't worry too much about following your passion is important, and don't worry too much about 9 to 5, running a business or entrepreneur or side hustle, like, which model. So
Yes.
follow your passion and then adjust the model as you progress in your life, as per the stage of your life.
I find that absolutely very candid and honest feedback, and I think that's anyone watching or rewatching, re-listening will get a lot out of it there, Pooja. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
And
you.
to finish the stream, and we'll come with some bonus questions after, but professionally or personally, how would you like to one day be remembered?
I think professionally, if the business owners, when they reflect on their business journey, which we
Yes.
all do at night, especially, oh my God, where am I and what am I doing? How far I have come? And if they happen to remember my name, at least, even if they think, oh, okay, when she was working, there was some clarity, or there was clarity in my business numbers. Even if they can remember me that way, I think it's the biggest thing probably I have achieved. So that's what I would like to be remembered professionally. And like, personally, definitely, if they can remember somebody me as a genuine listener, and like, if I was genuinely able to hear their problems, and give some solutions. So yeah, so if I was, even if a genuine listener, I think that's more than enough. But because most of the time people just want to be heard, that's it. They don't
Very
have
well
to,
said.
they don't even need advice, they just want to be heard. So even if you can be that, I think it's more, yeah, it's well achieved. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point you make there, Pooja, because most of the time people are waiting for their turn to talk and they're filtering rather than listening, or they're hearing but they're not really listening to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I think it's like active listening, what you're talking about, really being interested in that other person, and engaging with insights rather than filtering and trying to put it to your
Yeah.
point of view as well. I think that's a really nice way to end the stream, and really
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on and sharing your
Thank you,
golden nuggets
Colin.
that you. And where can people find you, Pooja? Where are you hanging out the most if someone wants to get in touch?
I mean, I'm pretty much very active on LinkedIn. I
Of
always
course.
gain insights and I provide some insights. So definitely, please reach out to me on LinkedIn
Yes.
if you need any help with your business finances. More than happy to help. So yeah, LinkedIn is the place to go.
LinkedIn is where it's at.
Yes.
Absolutely. If it's not on LinkedIn, it didn't happen, in my opinion. But nonetheless,
Yes.
connect with
That's
Pooja. She's
coming
an
from the loss of LinkedIn legend.
The laws of LinkedIn, absolutely, absolutely. Look, it helped us grow our business back in the day. No one knew who we were, and it's a free platform. You only have to put your time and energy. And I'm so glad that people are putting more of themselves out. Thank God. Like,
Yeah.
it's not all business is business, personal is personal. I know there's those
Yeah.
Facebook fanatics and LinkedIn fanatics that say you can't, never the two shall meet. You know, it's good when you show that you're a runner, or that you're on a journey with your health and you're doing these things with your kids or whatever it is,
Mm.
because people are endeared by that. And you'll be
Yes.
surprised when you let yourself, show a little bit about yourself, how many people maybe would be interested in that and taking things
And
offline.
especially in this age of AI agents, definitely human connection is even more important. Trust me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've said it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. Maybe the little voicemail feature in the messages, maybe your best friend, but read the
Yeah.
book and you might
Yeah.
be able to pick up some tips there. Thank you again,
Yeah.
Pooja. I'll bring you back for some bonus questions in just a moment.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks, Pooja. Chat soon. And if you are a ledger legend, and or you know someone who is in the accounting, actuary, or advisory space, and you want to be on the show, we've got space. I think early next year. Get in touch, because we come out every Wednesday with Live with Cullen Haynes, either interviewing a legend of law on Law Live, a ledger legend in the accounting space, or on our Finance Live show, our wider professional network. Thank you for re-watching or re-listening or watching live right now. It's proudly brought to you by Accounting Home Loans, this show, Australia's only mortgage broking service for accountants in Australia. And proud to actually come to you every week with this show. Thank you so much. And bye for now, everyone. Take care. Bringing you back, Pooja. Hope you're well. Got some questions quickly for the bonus side of things. How would you explain what you do in business with a 6-year-old child listening? How would you make it easy for them to understand?
I actually do it to my 7-year-old, to be honest.
Oh, there you go.
I have first-hand experience with this. And I explained to him, like, in the sense, do you want your weekly Nintendo packs, or do you want one trip to Paris Disneyland? So that solves the problem. So prioritize. But yeah, I think if I have to explain, it's like he probably loves talking about money and ensure you don't run out of it.
I love that. I love that. And how would your son describe you in one sentence? What would he say?
Mommy, always, okay, how much does it cost? Is it going to be expensive? Oh, it's $10. Okay. And then the best part, he said somehow Christmas holidays came up. He said, Mommy, I think I don't need Christmas gift because, we are going on a holiday anyway. So I think, wow, job well done. I thought, yeah.
There you go. I love that. I love that. But Mummy, I'm going to be asking for things on the holiday is what it is.
Yeah. He said that. Why do I have to spend here when we can spend there? I said, okay.
Okay, I'll make it happen. I love that. And last question to close it off before we go into the close of the show. If you could give yourself advice at any age, go back in time and speak to younger Pooja Venugopal. What age would you go back and speak to yourself at? Would it be a child, high school, university? And what would you say to yourself?
I think definitely I would go back to my 18-year-old self and say, you did a great job by picking the Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich.
Ah, good on you. That's a fantastic book.
That changed my life at 18 years when I needed the most.
Especially, I think it's that 6 feet from gold story, right? That he talks about,
Yes.
That's one of my favorites, where the miners, buy all this equipment and
Yes.
they don't find it. And they're like, 3 to 6 feet off and they get rid of it. And someone else just comes in and just goes, you know what? Just goes that little bit further and boom,
Yes. And also I think every story in that is so inspiring. And that needed, that changed my life. Yeah.
I love that. So anyone just tuning in, Pooja just said she would go back and speak to her 18-year-old self, which is only 5 years ago, and say,
oh, yeah, really?
and say she'd like to commend herself on picking up the book Think and Grow Rich by the one, the only Napoleon Hill, who Jim Rohn copied off, Tony Robbins then copied off. Everything's derivative. And I'm sure Napoleon Hill got these nuggets from somewhere. Great job, Pooja. Thank you for joining, and thank you for everyone watching today.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks for having me. See ya.
An absolute pleasure, everyone. Take care. Hey there, Cullen Haynes here, Australia's leading broker for lawyers on LinkedIn, and here's why I want to talk to you today about my book, my new book, The Laws of LinkedIn, 23 ways to find your tribe, build your following, and make 7 figures on LinkedIn. When I started this journey 7 years ago, when we built, myself and Andrew, my business partner, we built Legal Home Loans from the ground up, the pain point for us was we were at a standing start. No one knew who we were. We had no money, we had no contacts, and basically we had to find a way to make our voice heard, talk to our tribe, the legal community, and build trust. And the only thing we had at our disposal was LinkedIn, which was and still is free. There's over 1 billion people on LinkedIn, and I wish when I started I had this book with me to guide me, because I basically distilled my 23 top leading hacks that we use to build our business to a 7+ figure, and I really want to get it out there and share it with you. So if you're